So a historic day in Tennessee today. The first day of the special session in Nashville is in the books, but it didn't wrap without pushback. Protesters rallied against the redistricting focused here in Memphis. Action News 5's Imani Williams reports from the state's capital.
So day one has wrapped of this special session here in Nashville at the state capitol. But Democratic lawmakers and protesters, they showed up in droves and made sure that the Republican lawmakers on the other side of the aisle know that they are not backing down from this fight against the redistricting and the redrawing of the congressional map here in Tennessee. Today, a lot happened, but this was the first day of this special session. Both chambers recessed until tomorrow morning. That is when more discussions will happen. Now today, members of both chambers were appointed to committees for this special session. I mean, they only stayed within the session about 10 to 20 minutes today. But before the session began, protesters marched and rallied against this redistricting effort. Governor Bill Lee called this special session after President Donald Trump called him, asking to redraw lines to add another Republican lawmaker in Washington. Now this comes after a recent SCOTUS decision weakening voting rights across the country. They said that, you know, this redistricting is about the voters, but you all are voters, and you don't feel like this is for you.
No.
Oh no, this is the politicians picking their voters rather than the voters picking the politicians.
Exactly.
Now, we are waiting to see what this redrawn map would look like. Right now, we've seen U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn's proposed map that splits District 9 into 3 parts, really diluting the Democratic votes in Memphis. Now, Republicans say this is fair and pointing to redistricting by Democrats in California. Special session committees in both chambers, the House and the Senate, will meet starting on Wednesday morning. I'll be there and make sure to give you the latest. But for now, reporting in Nashville, Imani Williams, Action News 5.